The aim of this session is to guide you meticulously through the Omni-Channel strategy template, offering some insights and tips on its effective utilization. You will locate this template at the conclusion part of your Omni-Channel module, as well as within the downloadable resources accompanying this course section. Before we start, allow me to share some useful tips concerning this template. This template is customizable, so you can use it, modify it the way you want, and use it in the future as you see appropriate. However, for the assignment in this course, please use the same template without changing it so we can have even system for evaluation. The objective, as mentioned, is to help you write a professional omni-channel strategy. This is the objective of this section in the course. Also, I think such a template can help you or can be a reminder for the steps you need to make and the boxes you need to check without missing any important component or concept of the omni-channel strategy while planning one. And when you want to submit it to, it doesn't matter if you will use a Word document or a PDF or a PowerPoint presentation, the final look doesn't really matter. The most important is to follow the core components of the omni-channel strategy and to reflect on the 6 core concepts. So let's get started. The first part or the first page of this document is the introduction. And here you need to describe the purpose of this document and the overall goals of your omni-channel strategy. So in the introduction, you need to include the objective of this document, not of the omni-channel strategy itself. And here you can put the overall goals of the strategy, but don't go into details. You will go into details in the next page. So the introduction page or section sets the stage for the reader and probably explains why an omni-channel approach is essential for medical affairs in achieving its goals. Then we come to the second page where you need to be more precise and clear when you mention the needs, objectives, and goals. So here you have to list the primary goals you aim to achieve with this omni-channel strategy. And you need to be specific and use measurable goals like the SMART model. For example, you can say, let's increase or we will increase the patient experience or engagement by 20% in the next 6 months. So that's the measurable or the SMART goal you need to include. You can include, of course, multiple goals, but be very clear and be smart in your approach. The third page is the page where we will start putting the core components of the omni-channel strategy. We will start here by the stakeholder identification, where you need to identify the key stakeholders involved. And in medical affairs, we should include key opinion leaders, patients, regulatory bodies, or any other type of customers that can serve your strategy. Also, in this section, you need to explain why each stakeholder group is important and what their specific needs or interest might be. The third page is the page where we will start putting the core components of the omni-channel strategy. We will start here by the stakeholder identification, where you need to identify. Next, if you remember, will be the needs analysis. And when we talked in previous sessions about needs analysis, we mentioned why it is important and how to conduct a needs analysis. So you will probably put the summary of this analysis here in page 4. You will describe the methods used to understand the stakeholder needs. For example, if you had conducted interviews or did some surveys. And also you will provide details on how the needs analysis will be conducted if needed in the future, and what questions will be asked to update or verify the data that you obtained in the first analysis. The fifth page will be the channel's inventory, and as we discussed before, the channel inventory is a list of all the channels that are currently being used or or have the potential to be used in the future. So you need to list them all, including even face-to-face meetings, social media, webinars, emails, publications, any other type of interaction with the customer. And you need to describe the pros and cons of each channel and how they align with the stakeholder needs. Remember, we mentioned that after listing them down, you need to do some sort of ranking, which channels will be the top channels used in your strategy. Then we come to the sixth page, where it is the user experience design. So in this section, you will be sharing data across different channels. So you have to outline how this data will be shared across channels and describe the design, the user experience design across different channels, and explain how data sharing will enhance even this user experience and facilitate seamless interaction across the channels. Now we come to one of the most important components of the strategy, which is the content strategy. Here you need to do few steps. First, create a content map outlining the types of content to be used. Second, you have to develop a content calendar. And remember, we stressed on the importance of having cross functional collaboration at this stage and the need to share this content calendar with your marketing peers in order to ensure there is no duplication and also to ensure that we are not overwhelming the end user or the stakeholder with different messages via different channels. And finally, you need to explain the rationale behind the types of content you have chosen and how they will be scheduled and disseminated in the future. Three important steps you should include in this page under the title Content Strategy: the content map, content calendar, and probably you can mention something about the cross collaboration, the cross functional collaboration that took place. And finally, you need to explain the rationale behind selecting this content and how this will be updated and scheduled for the future. The next section of this template will talk about the technologies and tools that you will use. So if you are using a CRM system, you have to include it here. You have to also list any analytics tool that you will use in order to monitor the performance and obtain data from the channels. You have to discuss why this is mandatory for tracking the performance and stakeholder engagement. So maybe also this will help you later on if there is any funds that you are planning to ask to support your strategy. So having these systems here and highlighting how important they are will help making your or making your request more resonant. Finally, we come to the implementation phase. And here you need to provide timeline and describe the implementation phases, one after the other. The timeline and milestones should be mentioned here for each phase of the implementation. You have also to mention how you will monitor the progress and optimize the plan accordingly. So in this section, you can list the key performance indicators and explain how these metrics will be used for ongoing optimization of the approach. Compliance and risk management must be mentioned as well in this document. And here it comes. You need to describe the measure to ensure compliance with the regulations, local regulations, and your internal policies. You may want to conduct a risk assessment at certain point during the execution, so it's time to mention this now. Also, you need to detail how compliance will be maintained when it comes to areas like patient privacy or data privacy in general, and what steps will be taken to mitigate any risk if it is encountered. Finally, we will come to the review and adjustment. You have to specify how often the strategy will be reviewed, describe any adjustment that may be needed, and explain the process for making necessary adjustments based on the performance and outcomes and the stakeholders' feedback. And finally, you will summarize the whole document in the last page, and you can move this page, by the way, to put it in the beginning. So many people, they prefer to have the executive summary of the plan or the strategy in the beginning of the document, so you can do that. So that's it for the template. I think it is useful, and the most useful or beneficial use of it is to remind us not to miss any section when we draft an omni-channel strategy. So let me see how you will use this in the assignment attached to the course. Looking forward for your feedback. Thank you.